Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. You know, the last few years, the race to determine which group of 5 team would go to a New Year's Six bowl game, it's been pretty simple. We would enter the season with expectations of Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, someone like that, Memphis even, contending for that bowl spot. And we had a pretty good idea who some of the top contenders would be heading into the season, because those teams were typically highly ranked to start the year or had a lot of high expectations entering the year, whatever it may be. But now things are a little different among the group of 5. Very different. Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, they're gone out of the AAC over to the Big 12. They're not contending for a group of 5 New Year's Six bowl spot. They're going to have to earn it in the Big 12. So the New Year's Six bowl race is wide open when it comes to these group of 5 teams. Today we're briefly breaking down each group of 5 conference, kind of sharing our thoughts on who could win that conference and who the legitimate New Year's Six bowl contenders are. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. Because guys, here at the Gridiron Expert, college football never dies. The season never ends here at the Gridiron Expert. We're about 1 month out from prediction season. We're predicting every single college football team's record. By the time we're done with that, the season will be time to start. You do not want to miss anything we have going on right here at the Gridiron Expert. So check it out, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button, and join our GE Nation so you don't miss out on anything going forward. So let's take a look. Let's dive into it. You know, I love it. There's so much realignment going on among the group of 5 conferences. It really leaves a wide open race. You know, last year, Tulane kind of came out of nowhere. No one expected the Green Wave to get in there and make a New Year's Six bowl game, let alone win it over USC, but they did. So could Tulane repeat in the American? Could they be the New Year's Six bowl favorite, or could it be somebody else? Well, we'll start in that conference. We'll start in the American Athletic Conference, where a lot of Conference USA teams have actually moved over. Because again, Cincinnati, UCF, Houston are all gone. So we see teams like Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA all moving over to the American. I will tell you this, the Roadrunners might be the favorite to win this conference. They are loaded with talent, and Jeff Traylor has done a phenomenal job with UTSA. 23-5 with 2 Conference USA titles these last 2 years. That bowl win has eluded them. 2 heartbreaking losses to San Diego State and Troy last year in bowl games, but they could contend for a New Year's Six bowl spot and immediately contend for an American title this year. So watch out for UTSA. Frank Harris returns at quarterback. He's a dangerous dual threat guy. This is going to be a very, very, very fun team to watch, going up against some of their other Conference USA foes, but also the reigning American champion, the reigning New Year's Six champion in Tulane, who remains in the American, does return their star quarterback in Michael Pratt, does return their head coach in Willie Fritz, and a handful of other playmakers from a team that went 12-2 last year and won the Cotton Bowl over USC. UTSA plays Tulane in the season finale, November 25th. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's in Tulane, in New Orleans, UTSA at Tulane. To me, those are the top 2 contenders in this conference. The Roadrunners and the Green Wave, those are the top 2 contenders in the American. You can make a case for ECU, certainly. Memphis, maybe even UAB. But if you're looking for a team that can maybe make a run to a New Year's Six bowl game, I would bet on UTSA or Tulane out of the American. It's going to be a very, very fun conference to watch, not just because of the talent, but the realignment as well. Same can be said for the Conference USA. Although I don't think any team in the Conference USA can make a run to a New Year's Six bowl game, a lot of realignment there. It's going to make it fun and intriguing to watch, especially with the newcomers that are joining. We see Jacksonville State moving up from the FCS to the Conference USA. New Mexico State finally joining a conference after a surprising 7-6 record last year and a bowl win over Bowling Green State. So the Aggies looking pretty solid. Sam Houston State moving in also from the FCS, reigning FCS national champion from just a few years ago. And Liberty moving from an independent to join the Conference USA as well. Florida International, Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee State, UTEP, Western Kentucky all remain in the conference. They did not move. So it's going to be relatively competitive. I'm intrigued to see how these FCS teams that have moved up, how well they fare. New Mexico State was fantastic last year. Just an awesome story to watch. I'm excited to see how they do this year. And the same goes for Liberty. A lot of changes for the Flames this year. New head coach and Jamie Chadwell. How will the Flames do? Could they contend for a Conference USA title in year 1? I would say right now the favorite is probably Western Kentucky, a team that went 9-5 last year, that returns one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Austin Reed. The strength of schedule, though, not too hot. So unless they miraculously upset Ohio State in week 3, I don't know if the Hilltoppers could make a run to a New Year's Six bowl game, but I would say Western Kentucky and maybe Liberty are the top 2 teams in this conference in terms of contending for a title. New Year's Six, though, not so likely. Over in the MAC, a lot of fun with that midweek action, right? No changes, right? No major changes within realignment, new additions, people leaving, anything like that. And I can tell you right now, there's not going to be a MAC team that will contend for a New Year's Six bowl game. At least there shouldn't be. I'd be floored if there was. We saw Western Michigan do it a handful of years ago. Heck of a year for them. Played Wisconsin in the Cotton Bowl, so I'm not ruling it out, but I would say it's very unlikely. The top 2 favorites, though, I would say are probably the 2 teams that played for the MAC championship last year. Toledo, who won it, 9-5 last year, won their bowl game over Liberty, and Ohio, who dealt with injuries down the stretch, but still clinched a 10-win season and a bowl win over Wyoming. So the Rockets and the Bobcats certainly to be forces yet again in the MAC. I would say Eastern Michigan is a dangerous team to kind of keep your eye on. This is a team that won 9 games last year, 9-4, beat San Jose State in their bowl game, finally got that elusive bowl win for the Eagles. So I think those are your top 3 teams in the MAC right now, but the MAC's one of those conferences that every year someone comes out of nowhere. Northern Illinois, Western Michigan, Ball State. I mean, you just never know who's going to come out of the MAC. So I'm excited to see that conference, though I don't expect any New Year's Six contenders there. I do like Akron, though. Do like Akron quite a bit. Sun Belt, you talk about fun in the MAC. How about fun in the Fun Belt? I mean, God, this is such a great conference. And you could see a Sun Belt team contend for a New Year's Six bowl game. You really could, because Troy, who won the Sun Belt last year, finished the season ranked with that win, 18-12, over UTSA in the Cure Bowl. A top 25 Cure Bowl matchup last year was fantastic. Fantastic. And the Trojans, 12-2. Only losses were to Ole Miss and to App State, which they lost on a Hail Mary with no time left. So, if a crazy play. Troy probably should have been a one-loss team, if we're being honest here. This was a fantastic year for them. And I would say they're probably the favorite to win the Sun Belt again. Return a lot of talent from that team. They beat Coastal Carolina 45-26 in the Sun Belt Championship last year. And when you look at their schedule, they have the strength of schedule that if they run the table, could contend for a New Year's Six bowl, right? They have to go to Kansas State, the reigning Big 12 champions. An upset there changes everything. Remember, that's how Tulane did it. Tulane beat Kansas State last year on the road, and that kind of started their rise to becoming the American champion and a highest-ranked Group of 5 champion to make a New Year's Six bowl game. So that maybe Manhattan special for some people. Who knows? They have Kansas State. They play Western Kentucky, so a tough quarterback battle there. They travel to Army. Then they play James Madison, who was a great story last year. They play Louisiana. All those games give Troy a pretty solid strength of schedule that if they're a one-loss team by season's end, could be flirting with a New Year's Six bowl game. Very, very possible. Maybe not likely, but possible. App State always in the mix as well. Never know what App State's going to do. Who knows what massive upset they're going to pull this year, what miraculous play is going to go their way this year. Coastal Carolina's in the mix. James Madison, of course, in the mix a little bit, but none of these teams to me seem to be New Year's Six caliber, except for maybe Troy and maybe App State. But again, you never know what's going to happen in the Fun Belt. It's going to be a really, really good conference to watch. Those midweek games are great. And we've seen some great stories out of there the last few years. Troy last year, Coastal Carolina a couple of years before that. Louisiana was very, very solid. Again, App State always dangerous. So some great teams and great stories to watch in the Sun Belt this year. And then finally, guys, over in the Mountain West, no changes there, no realignment there. Fresno State was the champion last year, defeating Boise State by 12 in that Mountain West championship game, but the Bulldogs do lose Jake Haener. Yes, I know they've got some talent returning as well, and the quarterback position should be just fine, but Jake Haener, a major, major loss for the Bulldogs. This is still a very competitive conference, though, and a Fresno State team that should remain competitive. Boise State, though, you could make an argument, could be the favorite in the Mountain West this year. A team that went 10-4 last year and has the strength of schedule to make some noise in the New Year's Six race. They travel to Washington, who's absolutely a college football playoff contender this year. They host UCF, which will be a Big 12 team, so it would count as a Power 5 victory. They host North Dakota, a dangerous team out of the FCS. They go to San Diego State. They go to Memphis. They go to Fresno State. So Boise State has a miraculous little run where they're undefeated, 11-1, somewhere around there, and they win the Mountain West. You can see the Broncos get back to their New Year's Six caliber bowl games that we were so used to seeing them do in the late 2000s, even the early 2010s. So keep an eye out for the Broncos. The Mountain West is a weird conference this year. Fresno State solid, Boise State solid. Utah State won the conference a few years ago. That came out of nowhere. San Diego State, typically pretty solid, especially defensively, but never really good enough to make a New Year's Six caliber bowl game. So I don't really know what to expect there, but I would bet on the Bulldogs and the Broncos still being the top of the conference until someone kind of proves us otherwise. But you look at the group of 5 guys, it's a wide open race. I mean, we don't have Cincinnati as that preseason team anymore. We don't have, Houston or UCF as the teams. Like they're the front runners unless someone comes out of nowhere. So this year, I think someone is going to come out of nowhere. Someone's going to surprise us this year. More than likely, just based on a strength of schedule standpoint, the New Year's 6 representative, the group of 5 representative in a New Year's 6 bowl game will come from the American. More than likely. That's what Cincinnati did. That's what UCF did. That's what Houston did. That's what Memphis did. The majority of them have come out of the American Athletic Conference. So Tulane, UTSA, we're looking at you. They could be the teams that get to a New Year's 6 bowl game this year. But again, don't sleep on someone out of the Sun Belt, like a Troy, like an App State. Don't sleep on them. Certainly don't sleep on Boise State out of the Mountain West. I wouldn't go as far to say a team of the Conference USA or the MAC is going to make a New Year's 6 bowl game, but that's why you play the games, guys. Got to play the games. You never know what could happen. Regardless, this is going to be a very fun race. It's going to be something that ultimately comes down to the final few weeks of the season. Maybe comes down to conference championship weekend, because remember, you have to win your conference to go to a New Year's 6 bowl game. It's going to be awesome. We're so focused on the playoff. We're so focused on the big dogs. Some of the best races, one of the most intriguing storylines is right here, right under our nose in the group of 5. We're going to be covering it all year long right here at the Gridiron Expert. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here on YouTube. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. Because again, guys, here at the Gridiron Expert, college football never dies. We're covering every single team. Not just the group of 5, not just the Power 5. We're covering all of it. We're covering all of college football. And it never dies. The season never ends here at our channel. And we want you to become a part of that. We want you to join our discussion. We want you to join our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.